Yo, what's goody, fam? What if I told you that the one thing holding you back in every aspect of your life, relationships, career, even your own mental health, is your lack of emotional literacy? This is a habit that most men learn too late, but it's the key to unlocking the life that you want and you need. Stick with me, and I'm going to show you how to master it before it's too late. Society has taught men to suppress their emotions under this guise of strength. But that's not toughness, that's avoidance. Real strength is knowing how to understand and manage your emotions. It seems like from birth, regardless of what culture you come from, men are encouraged to man up and stay strong. But that leads to emotional repression, which has an effect on relationships and your overall well being. Without emotional literacy, you're living half of your life on autopilot, reacting instead of acting. So, what is emotional literacy? Simply put, it's the ability to recognize, understand, and express your emotions in a healthy way. This isn't just for your mental health, it affects your performance at work, the quality of your relationships, and your overall sense of purpose. When you're emotionally literate, you can identify what's really going on inside of you instead of reacting out of frustration or confusion. So here are the three pillars of emotional literacy for men. Number one, recognize. Now, this involves learning how to identify what you're feeling in the moment. And this might sound basic, but a lot of men struggle with naming their emotions beyond angry and stress. Now, here's a practical way to apply that. The next time you're feeling off, pause. Then I want you to name the emotion that you're feeling in the moment, whether it's frustration, sadness, or even joy. Number two, understand. Ask yourself why you feel the way you feel. Like, are these feelings rooted in reality, or are they old narratives or insecurities you're carrying from childhood? For example, a lot of men experience anger when they're really just feeling afraid, disappointed, or even hurt, which is particularly difficult for them to admit. Number three, express. Now, this is where a lot of men drop the ball. This speaks to learning how to communicate your emotions in a constructive way. Sharing how you feel doesn't make you weak. It's actually a sign of self control and emotional intelligence and self mastery. A practical way to apply that, um, using I feel statements when expressing your emotions to others. So instead of saying, you made me mad, you could say, I felt upset when that happened. And side note, that'll do something really good, which is having you take ownership and accountability of your feelings instead of pointing the blame and giving the power to somebody else. You never want to be a victim about your feelings and emotions, because if you're a victim, you can't do anything to change it. All right, so I feel like somebody might be watching this and being like, bro, what are you talking about? So let me make this make sense. Emotional literacy isn't about just understanding your feelings. It's really about building emotional resilience, which is the key to bouncing back from taking L's, setbacks in life, and really staying focused during those tough times of adversity. So for me, I remember being in the eye of the storm, going through my divorce, and there was so many moving parts, so many like mixed emotions, things are coming and going, and you don't really understand how to make sense of it all, especially as quickly as it's happening. And it was my ability to name how I was feeling. It was my ability to identify and sit with how I was feeling. It was my giving myself permission to feel the fullness of everything that I was feeling, and taking the time to examine and unpack everything that allowed me to navigate that experience without losing focus and without self-sabotaging and crashing out doing something crazy that I would end up regretting later on. But listen, truthfully, emotional literacy will change and transform your relationships in ways you couldn't imagine. When you're emotionally literate, you communicate better with everybody: partners, friends, family, people at work, even strangers. And the reality is, people will respect you more because you're clear about what you're feeling and what you need. Emotional literacy helps build trust and intimacy in relationships. When you're able to express yourself authentically, you model behavior and you create space that invites other people to do the same, which ultimately leads to deeper, more meaningful connections. That being said, I want to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to have at least one emotionally literate conversation this week. Doesn't matter who it's with: friends, family, coworker, whoever. But I want you to have a conversation where you name your emotion, where you explain how you're feeling, you explaining the emotion. And I want you to just see how they receive it, see how the dynamic changes. Simple. Now, before we get out of here, I want to give you some practical ways to incorporate emotional literacy into your everyday, your habits, your routines. First, a simple daily check-in. I want you to check in with yourself and ask yourself how you're feeling and why you're feeling the way you feel. This is going to start to develop and train your emotional awareness. Next is journaling, which is one of my favorite things to do. Journaling is going to help you identify your emotions and their triggers. And over time, you'll start to notice patterns that help you understand yourself better. The last thing is mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness, whether it's counting, breath work, meditation, it helps you stay grounded and it helps you stay connected to your emotions and prevents you from doing something impulsive. My brothers, this is grown man things, all right? Emotional literacy will change the way that you live, how you lead, and the way that you love. It really is life changing. And I invite you to change your life today. If this resonated, hit the like button, subscribe, share with a friend, and I want you to drop in the comments and let me know one emotion that you've learned to communicate more clearly.